Hi, today we're going to be talking about plant propagation. Figure this out. So, what is plant propagation? Plant propagation is the process of growing new plants from seeds or from parts of an existing plant, like cuttings, roots, or leaves. Seed propagation is a sexual reproduction technique where the male and female gametes unite. The steps required are proper seed collection, suitable growing conditions, temperature and correct temperature and humidity, right potting mix, and correct lighting. Cutting propagation. This is a technique where a part of a plant is cut off an established rooted plant. This piece is called a cutting, and this allows gardeners to create a baby plant that is identical to the mother plant. And these are the types of cuttings. You can either take a cutting from a stem or a leaf. Okay, so stem cuttings. Stem cuttings, these are amongst the most common types of cuttings. This is a piece of the parent plant stem. This comes complete with leaves, nodes, and buds. This cutting is placed in water where it will grow roots, becoming an independent plant. So how to take a stem cutting. First, you'll pick a healthy disease and pest-free plant in order to ensure the best chances of success. Using scissors, cut a stem about 3 to 5 inches long, removing the lower leaves. It's important to note that you must have a node in order for your stem to take root. Placing this cutting in water Place this cutting in water and then place the vase in a well-lit window. So right here, you can see if you cut in between these two nodes right here is where you'd like to ideally take your cuttings from. Okay. So for the next couple of weeks, it's important to keep an eye on your cuttings. You have to keep the water levels and proper lighting. This is crucial in order to get optimal root growth. This method works very well with common house plants such as your pothos and your monstera. So this is what it'll start looking like once your rootings start to take. And these are, let's talk about some leaf cuttings here. Leaf cuttings, some plants can be propagated, taken from a singular leaf, making it a very easy way for plants to multiply. For leaf cuttings, you pick a healthy leaf and place it in a rooting mixture. And depending on the type of plant, sectioning may be needed. Like this plant here, you can see you actually cut the plant into thirds, the leaf into thirds, and each piece is actually able to take root. And these up here, this snake plant, this looks like a begonia plant, and some succulents right here. And then again, this is just some examples, some succulent leaves taking some roots. I think this is a ficus plant, maybe, with some roots. Snake plants, also propagating. Those are pretty interesting. So once you have your cuttings propagating and growing some roots, you need to think about your soil mediums. This is just as important as your cuttings and your cuttings taking root. So soil is not just dirt. Soil is a complex living ecosystem which includes organic matter, air, and water. This soil supports plant and crop life. Soil is a mixture of minerals from rocks, organic matter from other plants, animals, water, and air. There are 5 main components: minerals, organic matter, both living and decaying, water, air, living organisms, bacteria, and fungi. So you must make your soil. You don't just go and dig it out of the ground. So soil must be well draining to and in order for your soil to be well draining, you must combine these three core components. You must have a moisture retaining base, and you can do this with a kind of moss or like cocoa fibers. Aeration and drainage, you can achieve this with orchid bark or perlite, a nutrient source like compost or worm casings, and a basic mixture that I like to use is a 1 to 1 ratio. You could also, of course, adjust this depending on your specific needs or the specific needs of a plant. So when you know your propagation is ready to move to soil is when you essentially have secondary roots. Secondary roots are roots that branch off of the main root. So basically, your roots have roots. That's how you know when you're ready to transfer your cutting into some soil. I like to keep my all of my plants in nursery pots, which are those um, just the ones that plants usually come with in the store, not the pretty decorative ones. So you must pick one that is slightly bigger than your root ball, and this will allow for optimal root growth. You must pick a pot with great drainage, otherwise, you will drown your plant. And you must keep your newly potted plant well watered, otherwise, the shock of being in soil will essentially kill your plant. These are some plants of mine that I have propagated and have propagating. This is a philodendron. This is a calathea or a prayer plant. This is growing in some water. And this is a monstera, the mother monstera with the baby monstera here. And these are corms. These are actually little seeds that are growing. So that's a nice little example of seed propagation there. And that's it. Okay, bye.